Let's speak now to Professor Dirk Kotze as we take a look at the Auditor-General's office saying it is concerned about outstanding debt amounting to 770 million rand owed to it by several municipalities. Councils in the Northern Cape, Eastern Cape, Free State and the Northwest are the major contributors to the staggering debt. Prof, thank you very much for availing yourself this afternoon. How do we need to, or what do we need to know, right, about how this all works? A Chapter 9 institution billing public institutions.
Yes, well, the Auditor General is, as the name indicates, is the auditing agency of the state. And therefore they are providing services to the different clients that they have, and they use specifically the word client because they are doing an auditing service ultimately. Government departments, local authorities, SOEs are not using private auditors in order to do the auditing of their accounts, but it is done by the Auditor General. And then her office then reports ultimately to Parliament about it. So it's an auditing service, and they are charging those entities, government and state entities, for the services that they are doing for them.
Sure. So municipalities owing some 770 million rand, debt owned by state-owned entities standing at 167 million rand. One of the debtors being Denel Group, 81 million rand. They only just recently managed to pay their staff. So what indication is there even possibly that they'll be able to meet their debt with the Auditor General?
It's very unlikely that they will do it. We know that these local authorities, especially in the 4 provinces you mentioned, are in a very bad state, financially speaking. The SOEs, for example, the now Eskom is obviously the main example of that, are also in the position where they can almost not pay any of their debt at this stage. And therefore it is very unlikely. This will be seen by these institutions as actually soft options, in inverted commas, because it is the Auditor General and it's not a private service provider that they owe the money for. So because it is within the ambit of the state, as a Chapter 9 institution, I think they will not prioritize this as one of the payments that they will have to do. But what we have seen is that the Auditor General's office has now made a special effort to try to gain access to this outstanding funds that they are that must come to them, that must be paid to them. So I think that they have made some progress. More than 80 million rand has been already been collected by some of these from some of these local authorities. So there is a small progress that's made, but far from the total amount that's outstanding.
These monies that are owed to the Auditor General, what risk does it pose to the function of or functioning of that office?
Yes, it does pose a risk, but at the same time, the Chapter 9 institutions do have budgets that come from Parliament, are directly responsible also to account to Parliament for their financial expenses and their budgets. So it is not their sole income, but it is for the Auditor General a very important revenue source. And as we've heard quite often by the Office of the Auditor General, she's always complaining that there's a shortage of staff. So in that sense, it would make a big difference if they are fully funded by their so-called clients.
The Auditor General's office has made it known that next on the list is Eskom, and this is what is said about that audit. Eskom is one of the complex entities which have a complex audit environment that requires a carefully planned audit approach. This, as we do know, it's public knowledge that Eskom has a debt of some 400 billion rand.
Yes, that is, and as I've mentioned, Eskom is one of the main, I would say, culprits in this respect. But at the same time, I think in terms of the prioritization that is taking place at the moment, they will most possibly put that quite low on their list of priorities, unfortunately, for the Auditor General. And it will be, I think, given the financial state of Eskom, it's unlikely, therefore, that they are going to pay that in the foreseeable future.
Thank you very much to Professor Dirk Kotze.